Montalvo Broadcasting Network. Support MBN, Montalvo Broadcasting Network, and shop with us over at Montalvo Store. Go to ebay.com and search in the advanced search. Type in Montalvo Store. Now support Montalvo Broadcasting Network. We have a wide array of books on conspiracy, apparel, and much more. Support your favorite radio station, Montalvo Broadcasting Network, by visiting Montalvo Store on ebay.com.
Tribal, primitive, rustic, Burning Man, punk rock, conceptual subculture for the edgiest, most cutting-edge designs of jewelry today. Go to etsy.com/shop/conceptual subculture, or one word, either by going to Google or search Etsy, ETSY.com, and type in one word, conceptual subculture. You will find the hottest designs using natural stones with wire wrap rings, rough, raw, genuine, semi-precious gemstone jewelry, solid sterling silver, copper, leather, orgonite, bracelets, pendants, chokers, men's copper cups with sterling accents, eco-friendly, repurposed, original, one-of-a-kind design earrings. Support MBN by going to Conceptual Subculture on Etsy. Go to Antique Obsessions for the hottest in jewelry, antiques, repurposed, solid sterling silver, one-of-a-kind, handmade by Bruce and Jaja. Go to our Facebook, which is Antique Obsessions, or you can go to Etsy.com and go to Antique Obsessions, one word, or type it into your Google and find us there. Thanks.
Bruce Montalvo.
Continues to spread conspiracy theories.
Penchant for promoting bogus conspiracies as though they were fact.
Montalvo.
About his conspiracy theory.
This is CNN, a network of broadcasting system.
Bruce Montalvo is the only radio talk show host that's not controlled.
This seal is a symbol of good television. It signifies
Montalvo Broadcasting Network
observes the high standards of programming and advertising recommended by the Television Code of the National Association of Broadcasters.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special episode of the Bruce Montalvo Show. Joining me today is a U.S. Navy research physicist. He is the author of the UFO FBI Connection and the Secret History of the Government's Cover-Up. He was hired by the Navy back in 1970. Dr. Bruce Maccabee joins us. Hello, Dr. Bruce.
How you doing, Bruce? You got a good name there, Bruce.
Thank you. That's we're named after Braveheart, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us, Dr. Bruce. You investigated a phenomenon known as the green lights, right? There's some green lights in the sky. You investigated that. Tell us about that.
You're referring to the green fireballs that started being seen in December of 1948. We're talking about way back ancient history now. Starting in 1948, they began having what became known as fireballs, but they certainly weren't ordinary fireballs. Fireballs are big meteors.
Right.
Instead of being just 1 or 2 seconds of a meteor flashing across the sky. A fireball could be many seconds and very bright. So anyway, starting in December of 1948, they begin to have appearances of these things they call fireballs over military areas in the Southwest. They continued into 1949, 1950, and late 50 and 51. And these fireballs were seen. They were characterized initially by coming from the north, heading south, and coming down and leveling off, and having the last part of their trajectory being a horizontal line. And everybody knows that fireballs don't make a horizontal line in the atmosphere. They're falling downwards all the time.
Right.
So that was the main characteristic. Another characteristic was the green color was unusual, according to a man who was investigating these way back when. He was a meteorologist, a person who specializes in meteor characteristics. And he told the Air Force, if they're not ours, we better assume that they're from Soviet Russia. They were coming from the north. He said they could have been launched by the Russians and over the pole, sort of. And
wow.
In 15 minutes, they could reach our military installations.
That's
I've never seen
crazy.
lots of military installations, and the Air Force denied that it was important. They sort of brainwashed themselves into thinking that there was nothing to this, even though the expert in meteors said that it wasn't a meteor, couldn't be, it had to be something like a rocket that was controlled somehow or other.
Right. People are reporting, that's amazing. People are reporting out here in Arizona seeing red fireballs. That's why I bring up the green fireballs, because it's in the news now here in Tucson that there was a sighting of red fireballs in the sky, almost a triangular shape.
Just recently?
Yes, last week.
Haven't heard of that.
There's a lot of sightings out here in my neck of the woods in Arizona. But tell us about your book. You're the author of the UFO FBI Connection. You talk about the real X-Files. Tell us about your book, the FBI UFO Connection.
The complete title is FBI CIA UFO Connection.
That's right.
It's a book that was inspired, I guess you could say. I was inspired to write the book by the FBI files that I got under the Freedom of Information Act way back in 1977. I was the first person to get those and read through and write numerous papers that were published in the MUFON Journal and other places, articles on these that were information taken out of the FBI file. The FBI was asked by the Air Force. The Air Force asked the FBI to investigate sightings starting in early July of 1947. And FBI did investigate for several months and didn't find any signs of communist subversion. That's what the Air Force wanted to find out, if some of the witnesses were actually communist sympathizers trying to stir up the rabble, you might say, by reporting these things that couldn't be
right
flying saucers. So anyway, the Air Force asked the FBI to investigate. The FBI just took on about 24 cases, didn't find any evidence of subversion or communist sympathizers, and then got out of it as far as active investigation is concerned. But they had established this link between the FBI and the CIA, the FBI and the Air Force intelligence, and the link continued even though the FBI was not investigating sightings. Nevertheless, people would take some sightings to the FBI. The FBI would turn them over to the Air Force. or the Air Force would send the FBI stuff. And perhaps the most interesting aspect of the FBI file is that there are statements in there by Air Force officers that you won't find in the Air Force's Project Blue Book file.
Wow.
Project Blue Book and the predecessors, Project Grudge and Project Sign, are all available on microfilm. And I think it's probably all available on the internet now, if you want to take the time to download it all.
It's out there. Right.
It was 94 rolls of microfilm, 100,000 pages of stuff in the Air Force Project Blue Book file. Anyway, you got some interesting stuff out of the FBI file that wasn't in the Air Force file. So I wrote a book about it, and I wrote a book called The FBI UFO Connection back in 2000.
Right.
And I
CIA
updated
connection.
it in 2014 to including my experiences with the FBI directly. I actually gave some UFO lectures at the FBI headquarters.
Wow. Hey,
So
did you get any guff from the intelligence community? I hear CIA officers could be quite the douche canoes.
Well, I didn't. They were interested, I guess, in what I could tell them.
Right.
The most important thing that they did was they got me the information on the November 1986 Japan Airlines Flight 1628 UFO seen as it came over the northern Canadian route at night, flying on November 11th, 1986, and the three crewmen saw two objects suddenly appear right in front of them. So each was a complex array of pulsating lights. It was two different arrays. One was above the other initially, and then after about 2 minutes, they shifted to being side by side and maintained this position in front of the jumbo jet aircraft.
Wow.
For about 10 minutes before they zipped away, and the pilot could see that as far left, he said he saw the silhouette of a gigantic spaceship. That's been a very. When I wrote the first real analysis of that case, and it was published in the spring issue of the Center for UFO Studies newsletter.
Right.
Hardly anybody paid any attention to what I had written. I guess there wasn't any big uproar about it, but there's a guy by the name of John Callahan, who is the director of the investigations of this case by the FAA, Federal Aeronautics Administration. He was the head investigator. He was the guy who was working in 1986 at the time of the case. He was assigned the case to investigate. 10 years later, after he retired, he went public. And when he went public, he basically said that it was real.
Wow.
Anyway,
that's interesting stuff.
The reason I was able to do that case, write it up, was because the CIA got for me all the information that was available.
Wow. Now you talk about abduction in your life. You wrote a novel of alien encounters. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's an abduction in my family. It's again an updated book. This abduction in my family was published in 2015, and it's a novel, but it's a unique novel, a unique construction. It's a novel with a fact book built on the inside of it. And the fact book part, you could cut out, let's say, the scissors, glue the pages together, and have a standalone textbook on UFOs. And that textbook is built into the novel story. The reason I did this was because this way it's easier to illustrate various types of abduction story stuff that people come up with.
Right.
The fact book provides you a basis for believing that there really could be something going on with all the unidentified cases. It's a combination of the history and analysis. By the time you get finished with this book, you could be a pretty good investigator on your own. On all sorts of stuff.
You could work for MUFON. You could work for MUFON after this. You read this book.
Right. So anyway, this is what I think is an amusing story. I got high marks when I first published it. High marks from abductees. Lots of them would tell me that. One in particular, I remember the lady said she was reading page by page. She kept seeing these things that she recognized as happening in her life.
Wow.
So anyway, there's a review of this book on Amazon, and the lady who published this review of the book read it 3 times, she said. She read it once, and she was so impressed she went back to read it again, make sure she hadn't missed anything.
That's awesome.
Third.
That's awesome. Did anything happen with your family in particular? I mean, family abduction story, or is it all fiction? What's
not that the abduction stories in this Abduction in My Family book are based on actual reports by witnesses.
I see.
So you learn about the abduction aspect of UFOs from the fiction stories, which are a lot easier to write convincingly about.
Right.
But like I said, you've got a fact book in there, and you read the fact book along with the main character who is very skeptical about it, and you see how his opinion of the situation is changed by accumulation of data, you might say.
So he's like a dynamic character, the character in the book.
Right. Yeah.
Very nice.
The ostensible author of the book.
Okay. You talk about the legacy of 1952. That year, they call it the year of the UFO. That was the year that the White House seemed to be something out of Independence Day or some huge alien movie. That actually happened in 1952. Tell us about that.
Yes. As a matter of fact, it was July 19th and 20th, 17 years before the landing on the moon.
I thought the moon was made of cheese. Anyway, yeah.
What?
I said I thought the moon was made of cheese, but anyway, yes. Right around that time they had the sighting.
They had some pretty good-sized crackers in the Apollo spaceship for the cheese.
I bet they did.
Anyway, starting in January 1952, very significant things happened. And in particular, starting in April, the number of sightings per unit time started to increase.
That's right.
Increase in June, and in July they had the most sightings. The Air Force collected the most sightings ever during the time that Project Blue Book was running from 1950. Well, Project Blue Book ran with the earlier ones. Project Sci,
wow.
Project Blue Book went from 1948 all the way to 1969. And in this period of June, July, and August of 1962, they had more sightings than any other year. Anyway, these sightings were all over the United States. In the book, The Legacy of 1952, you can see newspaper clippings from I don't know how many places in the United States. get an idea of what was going on.
Right.
But then, on the weekend of the 19th and 20th, radar operators at Washington National Airport became aware of unknown targets appearing and moving around, and they saw lights seemed to be associated with the targets. Strange, some orange lights moving around. Pilots and the people at the air traffic control center and the air traffic control or airplane tower saw stuff. It was on the first weekend, as I said, it was 17 years exactly before man walked on the moon. And then the following weekend, which is the 26th, there were more sightings. There were so many sightings in the all over the United States and in the Washington D.C. area that the Air Force did something, an unprecedented event, which was a long press conference that was held on Tuesday, the 29th, I believe.
Right.
And at that, the general in charge of Air Force Intelligence, General John A. Sanford, said there were credible reports, incredible reports by credible people, but nevertheless they were working on explaining them all, and in particular the radar targets over Washington D.C. he was claiming were due to what's called temperature inversions or radar.
Well, they said it was a weather balloon, right? And then they lied to everybody, of course. Weather balloon.
That applied to the Roswell crash case in 1947, but in the 1952 radar detections in the Washington D.C. area,
right.
They were referring to temperature inversions, where the temperature, as you go upwards side of the surface of the Earth.
That's a clever.
You get a temperature inversion which bends the radar beam downward so that it hits stuff on the ground instead of hitting stuff up in the atmosphere.
I see.
Anyway, that was his claim. Years later, they had some Air Force officers at the Air Force Institute of Technology take the weather data and calculate whether or not there could have been sufficient temperature inversion to bend the radar beams downwards.
I see.
And the answer was no. In other words, General Sanford gave the opinion that it was all hot air. These temperature inversion things are like hot air. And he didn't really know about it. He was lying, essentially.
That's what they do.
But the press was so anti-UFO, you might say, that they accepted the explanation.
Right, but it's changed so much now. I mean, it's so mainstream now. I mean, everything from the X-Files helped make it happen. And now we have this crazy idea of storming Area 51. I mean, I heard the Budweiser beer company was behind it. I mean, what do they want? People to be drunk? That's the only way to have fun is get drunk while you're being shot at Area 51. What do you make of that crazy stunt? Storming Area 51.
This Bud's for them.
Oh, yeah. It was fun going out there back in, the early 90s, shooting with your old man, drinking Budweiser, but this is ridiculous. I mean, what kind of response would the military or Area 51 give these crazy drunk bastards?
I'm sure they would try to make a line of vehicles and people. This is rugged territory out there.
Yeah.
So you'd have to establish a line somehow, and then probably, if they get through the line, you just capture them and put them on a truck and drive them into a casino in Las Vegas and let them stay there.
They're just willing human experimentations or something. I mean, what? It sounds like suicide. I hope nothing happens to the point of bloodshed out there. I don't know when they want to do it. September at 3 a.m. It sounds crazy, but Iran, they've had their fair share of UFO sightings, Dr. Maccabee, and I think that they have their hands on a lot of that UFO technology. Tell us a little bit about Iran and UFOs.
Well, like most countries, as a matter of fact, I don't know of any country that doesn't have one or more UFO sightings as part of its history. But Iran certainly has had a number. One of the more famous ones was 1976 F-4 jet case, where two jets, one after another, were sent up to check out some bright object that was going through near Tehran, the capital of Iran, and one of the second airplane that went up after it said the guy got within 25 nautical miles of this object, and all of a sudden lost all his instrumentation.
Wow!
They turned him off. As soon as he turned his plane around and headed away, he got all his instrumentation back again. This guy who was the pilot, Jafari, he ended up being a general in the Iranian Air Force. So it's obvious that they didn't think he was going crazy when he reported chasing on this thing.
Wow.
There are other cases I can think of from Iran, but I haven't really concentrated on Iranian sightings.
Right, I hear you. Well, there's just a lot of talk that they're flying around UFOs out there in Iran now. Thank you, Dr. Maccabee, for being on. And where can my audience find your books and help support you?
Well, all you got to do is plug in my name, search Amazon for my name, and you'll come up with all the books that they are carrying.
Right.
4 recent books: the FBI CIA UFO Connection, Abduction in My Family, 3 Minutes in June, which is the story of Kenneth Arnold's first sighting of flying saucers, 3 Minutes in June, and most recently, The Legacy of 1952, Year of the UFO, which shows how important the sightings in 1952 and General Sanford's reaction to it, how that sort of established the Air Force, the politics behind UFOs.
Right.
The policy, I should say.
That's
the
right.
Air Force policy to treating UFO reports.
Very true. Well, thank you so much for being on, Dr. Bruce Maccabee. We'll talk again soon. Thank you for being on.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. Thank you. That was Dr. Bruce Maccabee. Be sure to tune in Mondays, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Fridays, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. TalkStreamLive.com/Bruce Montalvo, The Bruce Montalvo Show. At Twitter, at Bruce Montalvo. Facebook, at Bruce Montalvo Show. Till next time, sayonara.
Montalvo Broadcasting Network.